Watching weak protagonists train for hundreds of episodes is exhausting. What if they skipped the grind and obliterated their enemies instantly, right from the start? Kicking off our list at number 10, One Punch Man. Saitama is an unassuming hero who has trained so intensely he lost his hair and gained unparalleled strength. He lives in a modern society plagued by constant monster attacks, eventually working alongside the Hero Association. Despite possessing overwhelming physical might, he battles severe existential boredom because he defeats absolutely every single adversary with one punch. Madhouse Studios delivered an absolute visual masterclass that completely reinvented the superhero parody genre. The sharp juxtaposition between breathtakingly dynamic animation and his blank, deadpan expression creates pure comedic gold. It is a masterpiece of subverted expectations and explosive action, stepping up to the plate at number 9, The Misfit of Demon King Academy. Anos Voldigoad is the legendary Demon King of Tyranny who voluntarily sacrificed his life to ensure universal peace. After reincarnating 2,000 years later, he discovers magical bloodlines have severely degraded. He enrolls in an academy designed to find his reincarnation, only to realize history was entirely rewritten and nobody remembers his true, original identity. Watching Anos flex his absurd power with unwavering arrogance is unbelievably satisfying. The show embraces its own ridiculousness perfectly, delivering absolute disrespect against pompous aristocrats. It blends fantastic magical combat with an incredibly charismatic lead who genuinely commands supreme respect. Securing its domain at number 8, Overlord. A dedicated salaryman finds himself permanently trapped inside his favorite virtual reality game as his fearsome skeletal avatar, Ain's Owal Gown. Surrounded by wildly devoted subordinate characters who have suddenly gained complete sentience, he begins cautiously expanding his guild's dark influence to gather vital information, ultimately aiming to systematically conquer this mysterious new fantasy world. Madhouse brilliantly flips the typical script by making our protagonist the ultimate villain. The psychological tension of Ain's frantically pretending to be a brilliant mastermind while possessing godlike magical abilities keeps the dark narrative incredibly fresh, engaging, and delightfully terrifying. Rolling into the ranks at number 7. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. A dying corporate worker is reborn into a magical realm as a lowly blue slime named Rimuru Tempest. Armed with a unique skill that devours anything to absorb its physical properties and powerful abilities, he befriends dragons and diverse monster races, rapidly building an incredibly prosperous, peaceful, and technologically advanced nation within the Grand Forest. What sets this series apart is its phenomenal focus on diplomacy and infrastructure rather than constant destruction. Rimuru is devastatingly powerful but genuinely compassionate, making the stellar world-building feel deeply rewarding while retaining exceptionally fluid and flashy combat sequences. Breaking the system at number 6, The Irregular at Magic High School. In a futuristic society where magic is formalized into advanced technology, siblings Tatsuya and Miyuki enroll in a prestigious magical high school. While Miyuki is hailed as a prodigy, Tatsuya is classified as a magically inept weed. However, his astonishing technical genius and lethal combat proficiency hide dark military secrets and unmatched magical destructive power. Tatsuya remains the definitive stoic, overpowered protagonist. Watching him dismantle incredibly arrogant elites using sheer intellectual dominance and calculated ruthlessness never gets old. The hard magic system feels incredibly well researched, adding stunning depth to his cold, calculated annihilation tactics. Crashing into the top 5 at number 5, Wise Man's Grandchild. After a fatal accident, a young man is reborn in a fantasy realm and adopted by the legendary hero Merlin. Raised in isolation, Shin acquires catastrophic magical power by applying modern scientific principles to basic spells. Unfortunately, Merlin forgot to teach him common sense, leaving Shin blissfully unaware of his truly massive, reality-altering capabilities. This anime completely thrives on its lighthearted, incredibly relaxing tone. Seeing everyone absolutely panic over Shin casually performing forbidden apocalyptic magic is continually hilarious. It brilliantly avoids unnecessary drama, delivering a consistently fun, visually vibrant experience without stressful dramatic tension. Carefully advancing to number 4, Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. The goddess Restarte summons Seiya to save a terrifyingly difficult world. Despite possessing unbelievably overpowered starting stats, Seiya is absurdly paranoid. He buys thousands of healing potions, intensely overtrains against weak slimes, and unleashes massive, apocalyptic magical attacks on low-level monsters just to ensure they are permanently dead, driving his exasperated goddess absolutely crazy. The dynamic comedy between Seiya and Restarte makes this show an absolute triumph. Behind the relentless humor lies a shockingly deep emotional core that unexpectedly elevates the narrative. The animation is wonderfully expressive, perfectly amplifying every single ridiculous comedic moment. Breaking into our top 3 at number 3, Mob Psycho 100. Shigeo Kageyama, nicknamed Mob, is an incredibly powerful middle school esper who can obliterate cities with his mind. However, he actively suppresses his vast psychic abilities to live a normal life and impress a girl. He works for a charismatic fraudster named Reagan, slowly building his emotional intelligence while dangerously explosive psychic pressure constantly accumulates. Studio Bones delivered a psychedelic visual feast that defies standard animation rules. Mob is fascinating because his godlike power is entirely irrelevant to his actual personal goals. It is a stunningly heartfelt coming-of-age story masquerading as supernatural action. Taking the runner-up spot at number 2, The Daily Life of the Immortal King Wang Ling is an impossibly gifted cultivation genius who defeated a powerful demon king at age 6. Desiring a peaceful, unremarkable high school existence, he wears a special amulet to suppress his universe-destroying spiritual energy. Unfortunately, keeping a low profile proves practically impossible when constant magical threats aggressively force him into dangerous combat situations. This spectacular Chinese animation perfectly captures the hilarious burden of absolute invincibility. The incredibly sleek action scenes directly clash with his deadpan desire for dry noodles. It consistently delivers tremendous comedic timing alongside absolutely jaw-dropping magical combat set pieces. And finally, reigning supreme at number 1, Arifureta, From Commonplace to World's Strongest. Hajime Nagumo and his classmates are unexpectedly summoned to a dangerous fantasy world. After a malicious betrayal leaves him plummeting into an abyssal labyrinth, the weak protagonist ruthlessly survives by consuming raw monster flesh. This horribly painful mutation grants him immense physical strength, unique magical creation skills, and an incredibly deadly arsenal of custom firearms. The sheer edginess of this brutal transformation is wildly entertaining. Watching a bullied kid become a merciless anti-hero with literal guns in a magical fantasy setting is undeniably satisfying. It provides unapologetic power fantasy excitement that absolutely hooks you instantly. These wildly overpowered protagonists prove that sometimes the journey is entirely about the absolute destruction you cause along the way. Which undisputed magical powerhouse deserves a spot on our next ranking? Leave your absolute best recommendations below, and I will catch you in the next video.